Hello everyone, welcome to Amalgamation chapter from Corporate Accounting. Now we are covering the various methods for calculating purchase consideration. So far we have discussed lump sum method, net asset method, net payment method. Here we are going to discuss intrinsic value method. If you are watching this video for first time, please make sure that you noted the previous videos relating to purchase consideration methods in order to get a better understanding of what is PC, transfer company and transferee company, etc. Okay, let's start. According to intrinsic value method, purchase consideration is required to be calculated on the basis of intrinsic value. We can find out the intrinsic value by using this formula, that is asset available for equity shareholders divided by number of equity shares. For finding out the assets available for equity shareholders, you have to take the agreed value of asset taken over minus agreed value of liabilities taken over. This formula we have discussed under net asset method. Okay, the formula is agreed value of asset taken over minus agreed value of liabilities taken over. You will be getting net assets. After finding out net assets, see if there is any amount due to preference shareholders. If there is any amount due to preference shareholders, you have to subtract that amount from net asset. So the remaining amount will be the amount available for equity shareholders, right? After finding out the intrinsic value, you have to calculate the share exchange ratio between the selling company and purchasing company. Because purchase consideration is ascertained on the basis of ratio in which the shares of purchasing company are exchanged with the shares of selling company. We can easily find out the ratio of exchange by using this formula, that is selling company intrinsic value divided by purchasing company intrinsic value. Intrinsic value of shares will determine the ratio of exchange of shares between the transferee and transfer companies. Let's see an example. See the problem. Here A Limited was taken over by B Limited. Number of shares for A Limited 20,000, for B Limited 10,000. Face value of shares for A Limited 100, for B Limited 20. Net assets for A Limited rupees 80 lakh and for B Limited rupees 10 lakh. Here A Limited is the selling company and B Limited is the purchasing company. They are asked to find out the intrinsic value of the shares, ratio of exchange and the number of shares to be issued. First we need to calculate the intrinsic value of company A. What was the formula for calculating intrinsic value? Net assets available to equity shareholders by number of equity shareholders, right? See the question. Here this information is given in the problem. For both the companies, net assets is directly given, right? That is net assets for A Limited 80 lakh. Number of shares how much? 20,000. That is for selling company, net assets is rupees 80 lakh and the number of shares 20,000. Therefore, the intrinsic value for company A is equal to 80 lakh divided by 20,000. You will be getting 400. This is the intrinsic value for company A. Then you need to calculate the intrinsic value for purchasing company, that is company B. Here net assets for purchasing company rupees 10 lakh and the number of shares 10,000. So the intrinsic value of company B 10 lakh divided by 10,000, you will be getting 100. Okay, so the solution for first question is over. So these are the intrinsic value of both the companies. Then see the problem. What was the second question? Now we have to find out the ratio of exchange. Okay, how to calculate ratio of exchange? What was the formula? Selling company's intrinsic value divided by purchasing company intrinsic value. That is selling company's intrinsic value how much? 400, right? Then purchasing company intrinsic value 100. Then 400 divided by 100, you will be getting 4. And this is the ratio of exchange between selling company and purchasing company. That is the ratio of exchange. So the ratio of exchange is 4. That is for every 1 share, the purchasing company need to issue 4 shares. For every 1 share, the purchasing company need to issue 4 shares to the selling company. In order to settle the purchase consideration, this is the ratio of exchange between selling company and purchasing company. Clear? So second calculation is over. Now we have to find out the number of shares to be issued. Based on this exchange ratio, you can find out this value. That is, now we are already aware that for every 1 share, purchasing company need to issue how much shares? 4 shares. See the problem, how many number of shares are there in the selling company? 20,000. So the calculation will be like this. That is, for every 1 share, 4 share need to issue. So for 20,000 shares, how many number of shares to be issued? So cross multiplication. So 20,000 into 4 divided by 1. So you will be getting 80,000. This means the purchasing company need to issue 80,000 shares to selling company. This is the way to calculate purchase consideration according to intrinsic value method. So we have completed the 4 different methods for calculation of purchase consideration. In the coming video, we would be discussing the journal entries in the books of purchasing company and selling company. So thank you for watching the video.